Well, hey, this is Danny Sunshine Bauer, and today I'm going to teach you how to say no without being rude. And to do that, I'm going to teach you my two favorite quotes regarding saying no. 6 principles on how to say no with more compassion. I'm going to teach you how to say yes, but more slowly. And finally, I'm going to teach you the one question you must use in all negotiations. Alright, so I said I would share my 2 favorite quotes regarding saying no. And check this one out from somebody named Rory Vaden, who wrote the book Procrastinate on Purpose, which is where I got the quote. So yeah, no doesn't show up in that quote, but the idea of multiplying our time by investing on things that are going to be more important tomorrow than they are today, that's about saying yes to the right things. Rory Vaden wrote the book Procrastinate on Purpose. I highly recommend to check out that book. A link to it is in the description of the video, and it gives you a framework for how to filter all decisions and tasks, opportunities that come your way. Rory calls this the focus funnel, and with every task you should think, can I eliminate this? Can I automate this? Can I delegate this? Can I procrastinate on this? And finally, do I need to concentrate on this task? And I chose that quote, right, because it's about chipping things away, taking things away. And you can only do that by saying no. If you keep adding to your plate, you're just not going to have enough time in the day to accomplish what you want to do, to go deep as opposed to spreading yourself thin. And that's why that quote is so important. It's not about addition, it's actually addition by subtraction. So now let's talk about the 6 principles of how you can say no with more compassion. The following are principles on how to say no without being rude. These aren't actual scripts, but later in the video, I will give you some specific questions you can use. The ideas I'm about to present in the next maybe minute or 2 come from Marie Forleo, and you should definitely check her out. Marie creates an incredible resource on how to say no, and I have that linked up in the description of the video. The first one is pretty easy. It's to be quick about it. You get nothing out of dilly-dallying and waiting to say no. It doesn't get any easier, all right? So make sure you say no quickly. That's also a way to show respect. It shows decisiveness. It shows that you have principles and boundaries and you know what your yes is and what you can say no to. So be quick. That's tip number 1. And tip number 2 is just old-fashioned kindness. Be polite. Thank the person for the opportunity. Thank them for thinking about you. Show a lot of gratitude. You know, your no can be compassionate. It doesn't have to be mean. It doesn't have to be angry. It could be said with a smile and with a lot of love in your heart, a lot of gratitude in your heart. So be polite. Thanks for thinking about me regarding this opportunity. And tip number 3, don't lie. Be honest, have integrity, have character. If you don't want to offer the details of why you can't participate, why you have to say no, then just say no. Keep it short and simple. And tip number 4 is don't apologize. We feel bad sometimes, right? It's hard to say no to people, especially people we really care about and love. But here's the thing, don't apologize ever for saying no. Now you can apologize, man, I really wish I could attend that event or be at that conference and learn with you. But unfortunately my calendar doesn't allow and I'm not going to be able to participate. But don't apologize. And tip number 5 is give a reason. I mentioned don't lie. Don't make up a story of why you can't participate. But if it makes sense, you can share the rationale of why you have to say no. That shows that you've clearly thought about the request, honoring that person and what they were asking. In addition, it may show that you have some principles or other commitments that just won't allow you to participate. So offer the background if you'd like. And the final tip is to offer an alternative. The answer is still no, but if you want to go above and beyond and still help out regarding whatever that request was, maybe you have some resources, maybe they're videos or online course content, maybe you have books. There's a variety of things that you can do to offer as an alternative and still feel like you're able to add value without honoring the initial request. I hope you're enjoying this video on how to say no without being rude. And in the next section, I'm going to teach you how to say yes, but yes more slowly. the responses that you can expect. And then in the third video, I'm going to teach you the one question you have to ask during every negotiation. I will warn you that these were shot a few months ago, and that was before I had a stabilizer, so some of the shots are a little bit bumpy, but I promise you the content is good, so keep enjoying, keep watching. This content is coming from a book called The Coaching Habit. So I didn't come up with these ideas. It's something that I invested in, read about on my flight to Boston just last week, and I thought this was so powerful, I wanted to bring it to you today. So in terms of saying no more effectively, it's really interesting, right? Because when we're at home, it's easy, right? It's easy to shut down your spouse. It's easy to say no to your son or your daughter, your mother, your father. The people that are closest to us, they tend to also be the people we hurt the most. It's not cool, but I think it's because we're just so absolutely comfortable with them. But at work, we might be a little bit more wanting to keep things safer, I guess. We like to avoid conflict. And so a lot of times we just say yes or probably, and we overcommit, which is also a huge enemy of excellence. A lot of reasons we are less productive than we want, or less satisfied, less fulfilled. We get frustrated because we're overcommitted and we're saying yes to too much. So the secrets of saying no is to actually say yes, but to say yes more slowly. And the way you can say yes more slowly is to be constantly curious. And so I want to share here 6 questions you can ask, right? That's going to help you say yes more slowly, and therefore say no to more stuff and protect your time. We're interested in that, I think, because we want to be able to say yes to the things that give us a lot of life. We think if we have more time, we'll have more peace, we have more calm, we'll be more productive as well. So without further ado, here's the 6 questions you can ask in no specific order, but number 1 and number 2 have to do with, why are you asking me, and have you asked anyone else? So question 1 and 2, why are you asking me? You have some type of opportunity, your supervisor's coming to you, your friend, whatever it is, why are you asking me? Have you asked anybody else? This right away changes the tone of the person requesting your help, because it's automatically pushing them to a deeper thought process. They have to demonstrate a lot more depth, right? Because is it that you just have a pulse? Is it because you always say yes? You have the nicest smile. Like, why are they even asking you? And the question, have you asked anybody else? That also pushes the person requesting your help to think, is this the best person for this task, for this role, right? So questions 1 and 2, why are you asking me? Have you asked anybody else? Question number 3, when you say this is urgent, what do you mean? And so a lot of times people come running to you, their hair is on fire, like they need this done yesterday, right? And so they might have a false sense of urgency. Maybe they've dropped the ball somewhere, or maybe it's your supervisor and they suffer from shiny object syndrome. And so they see, oh, look, there's a squirrel. And then they see, oh, there's Jamie Slingerland. I'm going to make sure that, oh, he's the guy who always says yes. I'm going to get him to do this thing. And number 3 is, when you say it's urgent, what do you mean by that? That's going to have the person requesting your help really think, is this a priority? Is this aligned to our mission, vision, values? Does it make sense that we start acting on this, whatever request it is? So why you ask me? Who else have you asked? When you say this is urgent, what do you mean? And number 4, according to what standard must this be done, and by when? And so this helps you understand what kind of quality the person requesting your help is looking for. So if it's just a survey that needs to get slapped up, put on the website, sent out to the staff or whatever, doesn't have to be high quality. It gives you a sense of how much effort you need to put it in. If they say it needs to be done today, next week, whatever, again, we're just trying to get a sense of the type of time investment this is going to take in terms of quality of work and when it's due. Next question, number 5. And these last 2, number 5, number 6, these are game-changing questions. These are like Jedi mind trick questions, especially when you're trying to say yes more slowly, stay curious, and help you say no. So question 5, if I couldn't do all of this, but could do just one part, what part would you have me do? This helps the person requesting your help really think about, okay, there's this big ask that I have. Maybe it is so reasonable that I just have Danny Sunshine complete this entire task. So of this whole enchilada, right, what is the most important part? And that helps break it down to more manageable aspects. And that also will free up maybe some more space and some more time for you to actually get this task done for the person requesting, even if you eventually say yes, okay? So it's just kind of like breaking it down into bite-sized pieces. And the last expert question to help you say yes a little more slowly and eventually say no to more things is, what do you want me to take off my plate so I can do this? I love this question so much because a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with somebody that's a supervisor or a boss, they continue to add and add and add to your plate, but they're disconnected to the reality of your work. And so it is mutually exclusive, right? Time is a finite resource. And so if you're going to ask me to start this new project, do this new task or whatever, right? And I have X, Y, and Z that you've also requested me to do, what would you say, boss? What would you say, supervisor? Respectfully, what would you take off my plate so I can accomplish this? You can't have it all. And that's a tough truth to share, but an important one, because we often live in a culture that thinks we can have it all, but you can't. It's unrealistic, it's insane. And so I love that question so much. So now, in terms of what I learned from a CIA agent and hostage negotiator on how to say no, is to use the simple how question. And the how question helps buy you time. And like the 6 questions I shared 2 days ago, it helps the person requesting your help, or they're requesting something from you, right? It has them think about their request at a much deeper level. So in terms of hostage negotiations, somebody might be asking Chris for $1 million, and the how question would sound like, how am I supposed to get $1 million in 2 days? And probably for the first time, the person that took that hostage is thinking, I don't even know, that does seem like a crazy request. I'm gonna have to think through this. And so the how question is very powerful. Use it like this: how am I supposed to do that? How do we know blank? How can we blank? And those are all examples of how questions. They provoke 2 different types of responses. Number 1, they force empathy on you, the person being request for money, for time, for help, whatever. That's because they have to put themselves in your shoe and figure out, yeah, okay, my request is this. Is it reasonable? And it makes them more empathetic. The second thing that they do is that it forces a plan for implementation. This is equally vital because the request can't be so ridiculous that it never could be executed or implemented. So asking that how question, how am I supposed to? How can we know? How can we do this? All right, that adds empathy and it helps force implementation. The last thing I want to say is, how is the how question like Tai Chi? And if you know anything about Tai Chi, it's a martial art that uses your opponent's aggressiveness to defeat them. And so that's what how questions do. You're going to find that the person requested your help is going to realize their plan is not fully baked or not even reasonable, and they're going to adjust. And now if they do ask for your help, it's going to be much more realistic. The other thing it does is it wears your opponent down. And so that's a great thing too, because they might just give up asking you for help, and now you're out of doing whatever that request is. Well, hey, this is Danny Sunshine. Thanks so much for watching today's video, how to say no without being rude. If you got any value from this video at all, you can help me out in 4 ways. Number one, like this video, give me a thumbs up. Number two, share it on social media. Number three, click follow or subscribe. And finally, number four, add a comment below to the question of the day, which is this: of the 6 principles I taught you to teach no with more compassion, which of those 6 would be easiest for you to implement starting today? This is Danny Sunshine Bauer. Hope you're having a great day. Bye-bye for now.